Papier mache is an additive kind of sculpture. Clay is modeling. You can just squish it and make it change its form. Carving in stone is subtractive, but this is additive. And so you have something, the papier mache itself is only a skin, but you have to have something to support the skin. And the art word for that support is called armature. So I put together cardboard, wire, and a variety of different kinds of newspaper. Newspaper has a grain. If I tear it this direction, it tears easily in a straight line. If I tear it this direction, it doesn't tear in a straight line, and that's because it's going against the grain. So when you use newspaper, actually pretty much all paper has a grain. You can do it a couple of ways. I call this the pillow method. Anything we do with it, we want to do fluffy if we're in the armature stage. So one side is smooth, and I've kind of turned in, and this could go over here to make a smoothish part for the head. Another way of working is with snakes. This is the grain, this direction. This is against the grain, and this is diagonal to the grain. So I'm going corner to corner, and if I make this fluffy, I can sculpt it. So these parts that I want to stick up, I can fill those in. And this part can be like modeling. I can fluff it up, I can push it in, and I can make the form that I want it to have. Form is three-dimensional. And I can fill that in. You can also, I took about a quarter of a newspaper to do this for the size of sculptures we're using. You can also just fluff it up like that and fill it in. So this was fluffed up with one small pillow, one large pillow, and two very tiny snakes. Tape is there only to hold it in place till I can do something else. The trouble with tape is my best friend, but it doesn't model. Once you put the tape on, it seals it and makes it so we really can't fluff it up anymore. Plus, this isn't tape mache, it's papier mache. String doesn't do that same thing. So what I'm doing is I'm tying this in and tying it down with tape. Here you can really see I had to use more tape here, but when we press it, we can't pull it out anymore. We can't fluff it up, whereas this, I can still go in and fluff it up. Oops, you can't see that there. I can still go in and fluff it up, but here where the tape is, I can't do that anymore. It doesn't have to be all that strong. It only has to hold long enough for me to get the layers of papier mache on it. Now, nothing I've done so far has been papier mache. I see a little bit of loop of string here. That is not going to have any effect on the overall form of my sculpture. So I'm going to finish that. Put a little piece of tape here just to hold it. And here's my sculpture from the side. Here's the head. This sticks up more than I want, so I can fluff that down. I think I want more up here, so I will be taking some more newspaper and fluffing that up. I can go inside like this, just fluff it up that way. I will be adding some other things too. I'm going to take some found objects, like perhaps egg cartons, and use that to add to mine. This came undone, no problem. Just take that little bit of extra tape that I have, tape it down, because this doesn't have to be all that strong. Just has to hold it long enough for me to do the layers of paper mache. I haven't attached these. The legs, now we know spiders have skinny legs, but the scale of this is too thin for my spider. So I'm going to take some snakes. This is diagonal, twisting lightly. And take a little piece of tape here just to hold this in place. It's going to be thickest here and thinnest there. So I want nice and fluffy. I want it to start here. I'm just putting enough tape to hold this in place. And here. And here. Clearly I need some more, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to show you. This does not have the right form. So I'm going to model it using string. So here, by the way, I sandwiched the wire in between these two boards so they wouldn't helicopter. Helicopters when they spin around and around. And if you do have legs that you're going to put on there, keep it in mind so that you attach them in such a way that they're not going to spin. Okay, so I'm going to pull this around and tighten it, because I want these legs thicker, but I don't want them fat. I don't want a fat-legged spider, unless my spider is Mr. Fat Legs. So you want them to be the right thickness for the size of the spider, and that is two things. It is scale and it's proportion. Proportion and scale are something we use a lot when we do drawings of humans, getting the arms the right length, putting the nose in the right location, and getting the mouth the right size. You probably have heard of scale in social studies, history. When you look at maps, they're drawn to a certain scale. There's usually a key there that tells you what scale it's at, so you know how far away the distance are. But that's not how I'm using scale. I'm using scale that I want these spider legs to be the right thickness for the size of spider I have. You'll see it starts out a little thicker here, gets a little thinner there. I do want them, look at how, remember how they were much thicker before? And I can always add more. I can take some little pieces and add some more on. If yours is too thick, tear some away before you start tightening it up. Here I tightened it really hard. Here I didn't tighten it quite as much. So here you can see this is sticking out, so I'm going to press that in. I'm modeling it. Modeling it as I make my armature. This is not the same thickness. It doesn't look right. I want to fluff that down, and I would want to fluff this up. This doesn't have any thickness. I'll have to go back and do that. But the snake worked really well to give this some scale. This would be a spider without an exoskeleton. If it had a skeleton inside, it might look like that, but that's not how they're built. So I need to fatten that up, fatten this up, take out the lumps, take out the bumps, and get it in a scale that fits with the size of my sculpture.